What is going on, guys? Jason Burke here, Styles Clash for life, coming at you on YouTube, and today I've got some football focus. It is finally here. As I'm posting this video, the NFL draft is just mere days away, and we've been speculating and doing mock drafts and watching all the ESPN coverage and about who Pittsburgh is going to pick up in those pivotal rounds. Who in those first, 4 rounds or so are the Steelers going to draft this year? Who's going to come on the team and make an immediate impact? What do we need to fill the most? If you guys have been watching my off-season football coverage, I've talked about the quarterback position, I've talked about the wide receiver position, I've talked about the offensive line, and I just did, over the past 2 weeks, I did my videos for offensive and defensive biggest needs in the draft. What positions should the Steelers go after? I went position by position, and I broke down both the offense and the defense, and I graded each position in terms of importance, kind of what position the Steelers should go after in the first round, second round, third round. I gave all my importances. So if you guys want to see them both, I broke them down. Offense 1 week, defense the next week. They're both on there. So I've now graded the importance of every high round pick for every position on the Steelers team. So now all that is left to do is kind of picking the exact guys that I would pick for the draft. I've told you guys where my head is as far as levels of importance for each position and what spots Pittsburgh should go after. Now I'm going to tell you the exact players in this draft that I think Pittsburgh could really benefit from getting. I've got all 7 picks written down here. We have a first, second, third, fourth, a 6th, and 2 7ths. I'm going to give you guys players for the first 4 rounds. So the first 2 days plus the 4th round. Rounds 1 through 4, I've got players listed. I have my ideal picks for the guys that I would draft if they're available. I have my backup picks for other great possibilities we could draft at that spot. And then I have a third set of listing of players we could look out for in those positions. So I'll tell you guys who I would draft and who else I wouldn't mind seeing drafted at those spots for the first 4 rounds. Let me give you guys a breakdown. So obviously, first round, pick 20. My ideal pick, the number 1 game breaker, the guy that I would go after in the first round, if he is sitting there at pick 20, and this is no guarantee, obviously, we don't know who's going to be there until draft day. But my number 1 guy that I would look for, you guys know I'm putting a high value on wide receivers in this draft. I'm looking at positions we need guys to come in and play this year. And we just did pick up a couple guys. Obviously, we have Deontay and Claypool on the outside. We just picked up Boykin from Baltimore, so he could be another outside guy. We do have a guy that played with Trubisky in there as a possible slot guy, but we don't have a guaranteed number 3 wide receiver to play with us for sure coming into this season. So we have 4 guys on our roster we could possibly trust. We're not sure yet. I would bring in Jameson Williams, Alabama. Jameson Williams' injury is his only question mark. He did get hurt in the bowl game last season. I think it's a leg injury, which is the only reason why he would be available at number 20. He is by and large, by far, the best wide receiver in this stacked wide receiver draft class this year. There are a lot of good receivers this year. Wide receiver is the deepest spot in the whole draft, but I think Jameson Williams from Alabama is insanely fast. He has great speed. He's very good with the ball, making cuts, making guys miss. He's the best deep threat in the draft we've seen in a long time. This guy is a bar-none prospect. He's going to miss the first 46 games of this season, but he's going to come back just fine. It's not going to affect his speed. He's durable. He's strong. He's got decent size. He's very quick. This guy is a can't-miss guy, in my opinion. The injury might let him fall to 20, and if it does, he is the guy for us. If we're drafting a receiver, and Jameson is gone by then, because there are 4 or 5 teams that want to draft receivers in this draft, Treylon Burks from Arkansas is going to be another guy that I think could steal the show. He's my number 2 receiver in this draft that could fall to us at 20. Obviously, Garrett Wilson's not going to be there. A few other guys might not be there. But Jameson Williams is my ideal pick. Treylon Burks is right there if not. If I'm going the other way, so I'm going to the number 2 need at wide receiver, my backup pick, not wide receiver. If I'm going to the defense, I'm looking at safety. We did just re-sign our safety. So we do have Terrell Edmunds back here. He is re-signed for 1 more season. But we took a long time to sign him, and we only got him for a 1-year deal, so we're going to need a safety pretty soon. We just paid Minka Fitzpatrick. We only got Edmunds on a 1-year deal, so Daxton Hill, he's been rumored to go 26, 27. If he's sitting there on the bench at 20, he's a good guy to look at. If we want to go wide receiver later in the draft, Dax Hill at safety is a very good pick from Michigan. He's a disruptor. He gets in there and bats a lot of balls. He's a hard hitter. He's a good center fielder. He's physical on the tackle on the outside for the run game. I like Daxton Hill a lot. I think he could start for us next season if he needs to. Other guys that I think would be a good first-round pick for us at different spots. If Devontae Wyatt from Georgia, the D tackle, falls to us, I like him. If Tyler Linderbaum, the interior lineman, center/guard, falls to us from Iowa, I like him because you still do want to upgrade at offensive tackle, in my opinion. Even though he's not going to be a tackle, I think upgrading at center could be nice because I do like Mason Cole, but Linderbaum I think is better. He's probably the best center in this draft by far, so he's a guy to look at. Also, the linebacker, let me think of his name. I didn't write him down, but he's another guy that could steal the show for us. The interior linebacker, not Nakobe Dean, but the other guy, Devin Lloyd. Devin Lloyd could be another guy who we have our inside linebackers already, but this guy looks like an absolute Pittsburgh-style show stealer, and the Steelers love to draft inside linebackers, so he's another guy. Those 5 guys I could look at in the first round. But Jameson and Dax Hill on each side of the ball, those are my ideal picks. Round 2, pick number 2, 52 overall. I'm looking, if we've already drafted Jameson Williams in my initial draft, I'm looking here at safety. So I'm looking at 2 guys at 52 that could be available. Jaquan Brisker from Penn State and Jalen Petrie from Baylor. Brisker has the hometown connections at Penn State, obviously. Undersized but physical. He's got good speed. He has some really good hands at the position. Jalen Petrie is looked at as an all-around utility guy. Like, he plays corner and safety. He's a slot corner. Comes in off the edge. He's one of the better running game tacklers in this draft. He's very physical at safety as well. He can move him around. He could even play outside corner if he has to. So he is a good guy to plug in for different spots. So I'm looking Brisker first. If we can't get him, Petrie's good. If we drafted Dax Hill in the first round, my backup picks are at wide receiver. And those guys will be another Penn State guy, Jahan Dotson, who's got a lot of speed, very good hands. He's one of the best hands catchers in this draft, and he's physical for his size. Or George Pickens out of Georgia. He's got some rawness. He's not terribly great route runner just yet, but he gets out of his break quick. He has really good hands, and he's one of the most physical receivers in this draft. And he has the lineage, obviously, with Carl Pickens being his son, being his father. He's the son of Carl Pickens. So that's the way I'm looking second round. Third round, pick number 84. I want to get an offensive tackle because the one spot I don't believe in on our offensive line is Chuks Okorafor. I know we signed him to a 3-year deal, and this is going to be his low-paying year, so we're going to see if we're going to retain him for the next 2 high-paying years. But I think offensive tackle is the one spot we can do better at alongside Dan Moore. I'd be looking at Arizona State's Kellen Deutsch, Diesch. I can't pronounce his last name, but I do like that he blocks to the end of the play. He's one of the best pass blockers in this entire draft. He's better at pass blocking than he is at run blocking, but he only allowed multiple pressures twice all season long. He runs through and finishes the play. He's good on the outside. Pass blocking has been our biggest weakness on our offensive line, and that is a strength of his. So I'd be drafting him as a good value pick at number 84. If we're looking at the bench, my second possible pick is Brian Cook, the safety out of Cincinnati. I like him a lot. Safety is a good deep spot in this draft. So if we decide to go with wide receiver, or say if we go in the first round with like Wyatt or Linderbaum and then go receiver in the second round, and we still need a safety in the third round, Brian Cook is a good guy. If we don't yet draft a wide receiver in this draft, say if we go Wyatt or Linderbaum in the first and then Dotson or Pickens in the second, go Brisker or Petrie in the second, then we're looking at wide receivers like Wandel Robinson, who breaks a lot of tackles for Kentucky. He's very, very fast. Also good hands for his size. He's good on the outside and in the slot. Or Justin Ross. Justin Ross is one of the best overall players in this draft, but his injury took him out. His production went way down at Clemson this year. But when he was healthy and he was playing with Jacksonville's quarterback this year, can't think of his name, Trevor Lawrence. When he was playing with Trevor Lawrence, he looked like the next big best receiver in the country. And then he got injured and came back. Had a pretty productive year still, but his production fell off, obviously coming back off injury, playing with a not-so-good quarterback. but I think Justin Ross could be a show stealer. So if we get him in the 3rd round, he could play for us next year, in my opinion. I think he's much better than his stats showed last season. Finally, in the 4th round at pick number 138, I'm looking D tackle. If we don't get a Devontae Wyatt in the 1st round, I'm looking at Farrell Jr. from LSU. I like this guy's physicality. He runs to the end of the play. There's times where he's not the fastest guy. He's a bigger guy. But he, unlike Kellen Deutsch, who ran really fast for offensive line in the draft, had very good combine numbers. Farrell's not the fastest guy in the world, but he is big and physical, kind of like a Javon Hargrave as far as his physicality goes. And he finds himself getting back into play. He always runs across the field to finish the play. So when a guy's breaking tackles or trying to get to the outside, he always finds a way to finish the play strong. So he's got the strength, and he's not the fastest guy in the world, but he does play to the end of the whistle, which I really enjoy that. So I like him there. Other guys to look at, bench possibilities as far as the pick in the 4th round. Demarco Jackson from Appalachian State, small school, got some good speed, very good tackler. I think he had like 114 tackles last year. Like that guy a lot. Also, Damone Clark, who reminds me of a Justin Ross from the last round from LSU. Looked like he was going to be one of the next big inside linebackers in the country, and then he had spinal fusion surgery, which means he's going to miss the entirety of next year. But we already have our inside linebackers for next year. We just signed Miles Jack, and we have Devin Bush, who we think is going to be better because of Jack. And we still have Buddy Johnson, who was a rookie who didn't play much last year, and we re-signed the other guy on the inside, the run tackler who can't pass cover at all. Can't think of his name right now. So we've got 4 inside linebackers already. But so if Damone Clark can take a year off and come back strong from that spinal fusion surgery, his health will be in question. But he looked like a world beater before the surgery, and if he's got a year to rehab and play behind all these linebackers we have, he could be somebody who could really be an energetic, fast tackler if we can stash him in the 4th round. That's a value pick for a year from now, considering we already have guys like Buddy Johnson on the bench and Robert Spillane, who I couldn't think of, on the bench. Then for the last 3 picks, 6th round at 208, 7th round at 225, and 7th round at 241. I'm looking for a few things here. I'm looking for edge rushing depth. I'm not going to name players now because I don't know as many guys in the 6th and 7th round. I didn't study every single person in the draft's tape this year. But edge rushing depth at 208, I like, whether it's an outside linebacker for depth behind the 3 guys we have now, or if you want to go D-line depth behind Tuitt and Cam Hayward. Hopefully Tuitt's back this year. We don't know. But I am drafting another D lineman this year to be safe. But I want to get some more depth there. In the 7th round, I'm looking backup running back. I don't think Benny Snell is it, and McFarland, the tape is out on him. McFarland might still be something with our offensive coordinator. We'll find out this year. But nobody behind Najee has shown us a lot of promise for the long-term future. I think Snell's going to be gone soon, and I haven't seen much out of McFarland. We'll find out what Matt Canada can bring out of him this year with Trubisky at his side. But backup running back, there's a lot of good 6th round, 7th round running backs in this draft that could be something down the road. UCLA's got one, North Carolina's got one. There's several guys who I'd be looking at here. And then outside corner, just to get somebody else. We got our 3 starters in place. We have several guys on the inside backing those guys up. So you want to get more outside corners. We only really have the 2 starters right now that we can trust at outside corner. So getting an outside corner would be important. So there you have it. In my draft, Jameson Williams in the 1st round, Jaquan Brisker, Jalen Petrie in the 2nd, Kellen Deutsch in the 3rd, Farrell Jr. in the 4th, and then getting edge rushing depth, backup running back, and outside cornerback depth for our draft. I know I didn't draft a quarterback, so don't crucify me. What do you guys think? Did I miss anything important? What do you guys think of the names that I actually drafted? Did I miss anybody really important at those spots? Tell me in the comments below. Please like, share, and subscribe to this video if you like these Steeler postseason and pre-draft coverage. Again, go back and check out my positional draft needs on offense and defense, and tell me what you think of these picks, and I will talk to you guys soon. I'll be coming at you guys on Thursday and probably either Friday or Saturday as I do the round-by-round draft recaps and what I think of all the picks. So if you like these, come back this week for multiple pick recaps, and I will see you guys then. Take care.